Okay guys, guess where we are? Oh, and by the way, I've decided that once my finger heals, I'm going to call this my kitchen fashion statement. Anyway, because you're going to be so used to this blue hand, you won't know who I am without it, right? Anyway, today I'm going to make, my mom's recipe was Nibbles, and I was actually kind of disappointed when I got it out because I thought it was in my mom's handwriting, but I'm certain that when I got the recipe, she was still using it. So, because I've had this recipe for over 40 years. It's called Nibbles, and the only thing that makes it Chex Mix is because I have a box of Chex. If they would have had generic, it would have said rice squares. And we don't particularly care for the corn flavor or the wheat, so we just put this in. The recipe calls for Cheerios, and y'all know that cheap and free. And also pretzels. Then from there, the recipe also calls for mixed nuts or peanuts or something, but we don't care for that, so I don't put those in. And then along with that, I just add whatever we want, what sounds good. And I do have a box of cheese crackers. And so I will be putting in the cheese crackers. Let's see if they're really made with cheese. I doubt it. No. We got some oil. Oh, it does have cheddar cheese. Yay! Anyway, then the whatever flavors that you put on it, it calls for 1.5 cups of oleo. No. Only butter. Of course, if you do your math, you're going to know that 1.5 cups is 3 sticks. Then it calls for celery salt, onion salt, and garlic salt. And I don't want all that salt. So I'll use my garlic powder, my onion powder, and my celery powder, and then we'll go by taste, because it also calls for Worcestershire sauce. And you know I buy things in bulk, so I buy this in a gallon, and I just happen to have this apple cider vinegar bottle that I when it was done, I cleaned it out, and I've got part of it in here. So, what else did it call for? What did I do with that recipe? Oh, all of those things, and right now, that's what I'm going to put in. And I will show you, well, I'll read the recipe because it's got Worcestershire sauce stain. And, oh, there's some food particles. Goodness knows, you never know what you're going to come up with. Okay, this recipe says that it makes 4 quarts or a gallon. But it's 6 ounces of pretzel skins. Ugh. 6 ounces of pretzel sticks. 1 or 2 8-ounce cans of salted peanuts, and we don't do the nuts. 1 package of rice Chex, and you know, they didn't make boxes this big back then, so of course I won't be using all of that. 1 package of Cheerios. You can tell this is old because it doesn't say how many ounces on the box. It just says 1 package or 1 box of this and this. And since this was written, now they're making all kinds of sizes. Okay, and then what you pour over your dry or your snackies is 1.5 cups of butter, 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce, and then 1 tablespoon of garlic salt, 1 tablespoon of onion salt, and 1 tablespoon of celery. So as we go along, I'll share what I'm doing. I'm going to get everything opened up and start dumping it in the... I use my big roasting pan. Oh, let me get everything taken apart and we'll get started. Okay guys, I ended up putting in this whole box of Cheerios just because I like Cheerios. I don't like cold cereal, and we really don't buy a lot of it. So, but this is a 12-ounce box. I put the whole thing in. Now the Chex is humongous, as you can see, 18 ounces. And I was really surprised that like I said, we don't buy much cold cereal, never really have. But this was only $2.50, and I've seen some cereals over $5 a box. Ridiculous. Now I did put in, of these cheese crackers, I did put in about 1 1/4 boxes of those. And I'm gonna, oh, and then I put in half of a 1-pound bag of pretzels. And so then what I do, just like everything else I do, I'm going to mix this all up, and then I can kind of tell by looking if I need to add, you know, any extra cheese crackers or pretzels or whatever. But right now it looks pretty good to me. So, we got all the dry stuff mixed up. Oh, and by the way, I'm preheating my oven to 225 degrees. Okay, I've got melted the 3 sticks of butter, 1.5 cups, and I added a tablespoon of the onion, garlic, and a tablespoon each of the onion, garlic, and celery powder, and 1/4 cup of Worcestershire, and it is plenty salty. I had salted butter plus Worcestershire, we know is salty. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to keep whisking this, and then I'm going to pour it all over the top of this stuff. And you want to make sure, which doesn't look like I did. Yep. I found a couple pieces of the different powders that didn't get dissolved. That was my own fault. I should have kept at it. Anyway, you just stir it. Try to get as many pieces coated as you can. And then it'll go in the oven at 225 degrees. I gotta read. You bake it with the lid on for an hour at 225, and you stir it every 15 minutes while you're doing that. And then you take the lid off and bake it again for another hour, stirring. Well, the directions actually say stir every once in a while. And I know I'm not going to remember to do it every 15 minutes, and that's fine. The main thing is you just keep stirring. You want to make sure that you get it all nice and coated. And then same with when you've got it in the oven. It helps to dry it out, and the stirring keeps it covered. What I might do is get just a tad more butter, not much, and dissolve the rest of that onion and whatever's in there that didn't get dissolved. But you know what? It tastes a lot better than when I've been using the store-bought flavored salt. And it's plenty salty without all that. What I was going to say, if it's not salty enough for you, just add a little extra salt into your butter mixture until it comes to about what you want it to be. But, you know, the pretzels have salt, the cheese crackers have salt. I don't feel like we need any more salt on this. So, I'm going to get ready to put it in the oven, and a couple hours later I'll show you what we got when it comes back. Oh, and you know what else is good? every time you stir it, you get a little cup and you have some along the way. We'll call that quality control. I forgot to show you my Chex mix after, or my party mix, or Nibbles, whatever, after I was done. These are half-gallon jars, and I actually ended up with 4 of these jars full. So I had 2 gallons instead of just 1 gallon. And I still had plenty of the butter, salt mixture over it for us. And it's not a real strong taste, and that works good. Not real salty and not real strong. Just right. So anyway, I'll get this uploaded, and I've got another project I'm going to start today.